Hey Ops, today we're talking Culinary Class Wars Season 2. I'm giving you guys a recap in case you didn't have any time to watch the last 12 episodes, I think, and are waiting for the season finale and kind of just want to know what happens tomorrow. Because the season finale does come out January 13th, but I'm just going to run through the highlights and run through all the rounds so you guys know all the kind of inside jokes and all that. Let's get started. So just starting out, the production value of this season is way, way higher. And all the contestants, white and black spoons, on another level. Like the black spoons already could basically qualify to be white spoons. There are already a ton of Michelin recognized Michelin star cooks and chefs that have worked in those types of kitchens. Also lots of other kind of famous people and different talents. It's a lot more people who are already kind of well known in the industry already, which is kind of defeats the purpose of like an unknown chef going up against a well-known chef.
You're both so famous.
Weren't you recently on an EBS show?
Before I did that.
The professor's here too?
They're real celebrity chefs.
For the lower tier group here, a lot of black spoons are overqualified.
But I get it because the white spoons are even more impressive this season compared to last season in terms of like notoriety and mass appeal because they somehow got 1-star and 2-star Michelin chefs, like a ton of them, to compete in Culinary Class Wars Season 2, along with two of the Korean goats of French and Chinese cooking. Round 1 is an elimination round just like last season, except the catch this time is that when first revealed, there are only 18 white spoon chefs. And so that's because the challenge this time is that there are actually 2 hidden white spoons to fill up the 20, of which those 2 white spoons end up being 2 competitors from last season, the white hat braising master and the sleepy long-haired Aura farmer who was listening to music last season.
Challenge for the black spoon elimination round is hidden white spoons. Huh?
Hidden white spoons?
Is that
Amazing.
Chef Kim Do-yeon and Chef Chae Kang-rok.
No way.
Chef Kangrok and Chef Doyeon?
The hidden white spoons are returning white spoons.
The catch here is that they also have to compete in round 1, elimination round, and they both need to get judged by both the judges, which are the previous judges, Chef An and Chef Pike. Well, I guess he's not really a chef, but Pike. And so if they get approved by both judges, then a black spoon opening gets opened up as well. Because right now there are only 18 spots available for black spoons because there are only 18 white spoon spots. But if another spot opens up because a hidden white spoon passes, then they get another black spoon opening. So potentially you could have anywhere from 18 to 20 black spoon spots after round 1. Spoiler alert, this whole video is a spoiler alert, but the one who ends up passing is white hat braising guy. And unfortunately, the Aura farmer with his closed eyes and long hair, he had this whole elaborate thing where he was like making noodles from scratch out of like nuts or something. Pike was like, this shit pretty good, but then Chef An was like, this shit chalky. So then, yeah, he got eliminated and he left.
When I taste this, there's a chalky aftertaste that lingers. For my taste buds, I don't think I would call this delicious. Good try, though.
That was round 1. After, the people who passed round 1, as far as black spoons go, about who you'd expect, the people with that kind of like background, like Michelin, like high-end training, and some other notables like this famous barbecue guy in Korea, the witch with the wok, who's apparently like super good, which I learned later isn't even like a real cook. She works in an office building. And this other contestant, Brewmaster Yun, who you need to pay attention to because she is the underdog throughout the whole season. And she doesn't even have any formal training in cooking. She just owns a bar and wants to prove to herself that her food is actually pretty good. Like some real like anime protagonist type shit. And so that is the end of round 1. For round 2, it is 19 white spoons versus 19 black spoons. And so the challenge here is a 1v1 battle between white and black spoons, picking a regional ingredient from Korea. And so for this round, the white spoons came up in the middle between the 2 groups and was like, who wants to challenge me? And then, whatever black spoons came up, they would pick, and then they would sort out the 1v1s that way. And from there was like this cool map on the ground of Korea where there were different ingredients that were hidden you know, hidden secret ingredients of each region of Korea, like whatever ingredient is like well known in that region.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And so this round was really cool because a bunch of the 1v1s were actually kind of like a student mentor battle. Like a bunch of these Michelin star chefs on the White Spoons were getting challenged by their own like former cooks or former workers that mentored under them. So for round one, some of the highlights or notable rounds was the ingredient was quail, and I think his name is Rebellious Genius is like the title they give him. He's kind of like a Simpsons looking guy. He goes against his mentor or his former chef, who is the chef of a 2-star Michelin restaurant in Korea called Sonye, and he actually ends up beating him, which was a huge upset in the start of the challenge because he was like, oh my god, he's like 2-star Michelin. And even though the Michelin stars chef, his quail dish was perfect on a technical level, the other Simpsons looking guy, Rebellious Genius, he kind of like, his whole thing is like, I think outside the box, I push the boundaries. And he did, because he left, you know, chef on speechless because they ate off of like quail bones and quail the skewer was actually the leg of a quail. So pretty brutal. Other highlights also include the one between Culinary Monster and the chef Song Hoon, who they both come from similar backgrounds. And this is actually what I'm talking about, how like some of the Black Spoon chefs could have already been White Spoon chefs because their backgrounds are so similar already. So Culinary Monster, he was actually a longtime sous chef. So that's kind of like the assistant of the main chef of a restaurant. He was a sous of the very famous 3-star Michelin restaurant French Laundry in California under Thomas Keller. The White Spoon came from another 3-star Michelin restaurant in New York called 11 Madison Park, which he was a sous chef there for a long time too. So it's like they had the same experience basically, and you know, the ingredient for them was sea squirt, and this was cool because Culinary Monster low-key like just blew him out of the water, like low diffed him like crazy, because it's both an ingredient they are unfamiliar with, but compared to the judges' reactions with each of their dishes, like Culinary Monster kind of like washed him. Another highlight was the Soul Mother versus this other chef called Jung Ho Young. And so this one, their ingredient was monkfish, which is this like ugly looking fish. It kind of looks like the thing that ate Finding Nemo's mom. This one was interesting because it took such a long decision because their dishes were so evenly matched. Like for them, I think it took like 3 rounds until finally Soul Mother etched out.
I was so relieved for a second. And then they...
The second tie was unprecedented. Oh, so that means it's really neck and neck, huh?
We're good.
Great. Man, that was tough.
This is the closest it's been.
Absolutely.
That guy didn't even end up getting eliminated because they brought him back in the next round. They're like, oh, let's bring back 2 of the closest to be eliminated that were eliminated. So they ended up bringing back the Monkfish White Spoon chef and the venerable Sunjae, which is the first master of vegetarian Buddhist cooking in Korea. For the next round after the 1v1s, there is a team battle between the White Spoons and Black Spoons who passed from the last round. And so this one was actually super controversial because whoever lost this round, like team-wise, was fully on the chopping block. Online people, the netizens or the online people were like, isn't the whole point of it being like Black Spoons versus White Spoons? How are you going to eliminate a whole team after this? So super controversial from the production side. The whole gist of this team battle is that they had to highlight and incorporate a pair of ingredients picked off of a Ferris wheel. And just like last season, they're doing like this RNG 100-person tasting where everyone gets a vote.
That's one heck of an entrance.
And so they did this for 3 rounds. The first round had 100 people, the second round had 50 people, and the third round had 10 people. And so with 100 people, everybody's vote counts for 1. for 50 people, everyone's count votes for 2 points. And then for the third round, everybody's vote counted for 10 points because it's 10 people, so equals 100. The White Spoon chefs were just destroying. they were like destroying the Black Spoons for round 1 and 2. So they had like this huge gap, and this all rode on the last round, and they were able to. It actually ended up being very close, and the surprise here was that the judges for the very last round, the 10 judges, were actually previous contestants of last season, so season 1. Looking at you, Chef Edward Lee. It only came down to the very last vote, and the White Spoons barely edged them out by 1 vote.
Oh, this is driving me crazy.
Auntie Omakase number 1 voted for the White Spoon team.
Because of that, the Black Spoons did end up going on the chopping block. This is kind of like the intermission round where all the Black Spoons are on a chopping block and only 2 can survive. They all get to pick an ingredient that they're confident with, comfortable with, and make a dish. From those dishes, they're all ranked up versus each other. The ones who survive, of course, Culinary Monster. Like, that's pretty no-brainer. He's the most, like, quote-unquote, competent on paper. But my underdog, Brewmaster Yun, like, she literally does not ever believe that she's actually making it this far.
Chef Brewmaster Yun, you've survived. Congratulations.
Really? Oh.
Those 2 get brought back into the other room with the White Spoon chefs, and this next round they get brought into is a pair battle, a partnership battle. And so with these partner battles, the White Spoons and Black Spoons, they're all free to kind of pick who they want to pair up with, and the point of the partner battle is to create a cohesive dish between their 2 styles. So if one guy is like, I do Japanese food, and another guy is like, I do Italian food, you got to make a cohesive dish that highlights an Italian side and a Japanese side. For the Black Spoons, the Brewmaster Yun, she picks Im Song-kun. And so this is actually a super wholesome pair, because if you ever watch Mob Psycho 100, the anime, this is given like Reagan with Mob. Like, she's Mob, like super kind of timid, shy, not confident, and Im Song-kun is kind of like the overconfident mentor, like, we got this.
But we had a goal to reach, so we went a little crazy.
Let's finish our dish as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Culinary Monster also got with a fine dining chef, Chef Sun Jong-hwan, I believe. Yeah. He's kind of like a heartthrob online because he's kind of like, I'm handsome and I can cook. But also, I'm a nice guy. I just know Culinary Monster, when he got to be paired up with him, he was like, oh my god, someone who gets me. Because everyone else, like the other Black Spoons during the team battle, did not get him. Like, everything on a schedule, like super like Michelin chef, like cutthroat. Both the Black Spoon teams end up passing with their dish. The Culinary Monster and his team ended up making like this over-the-top, like complicated Waldorf salad type of thing, versus Brewmaster Yun and Song Im-kun. Im Song-kun rather, end up making a very traditional like pork kalbi Korean pub style meal. The highlight of the round, and which was very controversial online, was the Chinese goats team. His dish was a mango mayonnaise lobster, which sounds insane by like Western standards, but apparently it's a traditional Cantonese, maybe not traditional, but it is a common Cantonese dish.
The tenderness of the mango and the sweetness of the lobster, wrapped in a savory mayo sauce.
And so for the next kind of like I don't know, what round are we on? Like 4.5? I don't know. These teams who survived had to go against each other now and use the exact same ingredients they used during the partner battle and make their own dish. The survivors this round, Culinary Monster beat out, Brewmaster beat out, Chinese beat out, and so at this point, after round 4.5, 4.5, there are only 7 contestants left. And now we're on round 5. With the remaining 7 contestants, we have the infinite cooking heaven is what they call it. And so basically this round, you get the ultimate ingredients. The pantry's like decked out, all the most premium ingredients, anything you could ever wish for. Everyone gets 3 hours to cook, right? Which is a ton of time, but there's a reason for that. The one who gets the highest score of between the two judges, right? So out of 200 points, with each judge being worth 100 points, they can skip the next round. So this is like the round before the finals. Different people during this round have different strategies. I know the one who partnered with Brewmaster Yun, that guy is like, his whole thing's like, I'm a speed demon. I do things quick. And he ends up putting out like, I don't know, like 7 different dishes.
So, for my 5th and final dish, I'm happy to present to you garlic galbi with Kaesong-style seasoned radishes.
Did you say final?
Yes.
I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, me too.
And all of them are like scoring kind of like lower mid. So it's like his strategy's not working. Some people like Brewmaster Yun and White Hat Braze guy, they take the entire time to make one dish. You know, Culinary Monster actually ends up being number 1 for the majority of the time. But once Brewmaster finishes her dish, she overtakes Culinary Monster, which has him tweaking. And then at the very end, Culinary Monster and Hat Braze Master end up putting out a dish right at the very end and gets judged. Culinary Monster can't beat Brewmaster Yun's dish, which she basically made like amped up tteokbokki from scratch. The White Hat Braze Master ends up making basically he looks at the pantry of premium ingredients and he's like, I'm gonna braise all of this.
The ingredients here are endless. You can do anything. You can braise anything.
And he makes like this chirashi bowl of just braised seafood. And so a chirashi bowl is basically just like a rice bowl. He ends up like just blowing the whole competition. He gets a 96, I think, a 95 or 96 from Pike and a full 90 points from Chefan. And so he gets first place during this heaven round. And so he can skip the next round. And so that brings me into the hell round. And if you remember from last season, the hell round was where they had to cook each round using the same ingredients. So that really challenges your ability to be creative and also they only get like 30 minutes. So it's like be creative in 30 minutes and try to beat your opponents with your new dish highlighting this ingredient. Last season was brutal. This season I think was actually a lot easier with the ingredient. It's last season was tofu, so they had to make like round after round after round of like making tofu interesting. This round was carrots, which I think is a more versatile ingredient. You know, round after round after round, the carrot dishes were, you know, knocking people out back and forth, and then the final two, leading into the end of episode 12, before the finale, and the final episode is Culinary Monster, of course, right? Who was actually like really showcasing why he belongs there, because, you know, he got a lot of hate online because he comes in cocky or whatever, but like, hey, he can back it because every time he makes something, it's like, wow, this is like awesome. And he's even being scored by Chefan like on a harder grade, like almost explicitly so, because they come from the same like high fine dining Michelin star background. The other person who's kind of in the final two of the hell round for the carrots is our Chinese goat. It's amazing that he's even able to last this long, because if you think about the long shooting times of the whole series, like all this back-to-back cooking, like it's exhausting. I don't know if you've ever tried to make a meal over the course of like 2 or 3 hours, but like you were tired afterwards. And now you guys should all be up to date with Culinary Class Wars Season 2 leading up into the finale for January 13th.